Hey guys, so we're back with another video. So if you haven't got done my apology video about me not getting things done for the Super Bowl videos, it may take me some time to do them due to copyright things on YouTube. Go check that out first. Now, we're back with a new video. I'm going to be talking about things for American Horror Story this time, but this time is basically me thinking about how American Horror Story double feature, how it really should have ended and what connection they could have dealing with I would say Michael Langdon as well as season 8, what they could have done with season 8 to connect that to not only Asylum but as well as season 8 as well, because from what we have learned before, we saw that definitely Michael Langdon, like some prominent things from Apocalypse was being at play. Like for example, the Jellos that the cooperative or the people that's in the bunkers, the outposts, they were eating gelatin, small cubicle gelatins that were supposed to be good for the body, and they couldn't have meat or none of these things in the outposts, right? So there was a lot of referencing and double feature that I would have thought they could have made the connections, like how did they end up getting like futuristic things since they had a past and future in the double feature, especially the Death Valley part. That could have had a good connection to Apocalypse, and how because of the sacrificial part of Eisenhower signing the bill and giving the aliens more humans to test subject on, that's why they're able to give us so much technology, but at the same time it defaults us at a fault that they could use us for anything now because of the treaty that was made in the past, thus helping them create, or helping Michael Langdon create the cooperative, because it's like saying that these people sold their souls to the aliens, which I think those aliens that were introduced in double feature could probably end up working with, the Antichrist in the future seasons. Now, I believe Ryan Murphy has set up two things that I think, if I'm not mistaken, could be something in the future for season 12 or 13. Like for an example, he did mention that the witches will be back in a future season, which we just don't know what season would be. It might be greenlit for either 20 more seasons. We don't know. But so far, season 11 all the way up to 13 is what's been greenlit. So either those seasons, we don't know when the witches would be back, but we know that at the end of Apocalypse, that there were it was a pin reset of the Apocalypse, but at the end of Apocalypse, we end up seeing that it was all at vain, because even if they try to stop the world one time, we saw that the apocalypse could end up happening again. So I believe we might see another appearance of Michael Langdon, depending on how they structure future season. Now, my hope for season 11, they might actually go to the future instead of doing a lot of things in the past. But I would never mind if they go in the past and make some tie-in, because so far we don't know what the tie-in between I would say 1984, but depending on the situation, we don't know what other tie-in that might connect. Especially Red Tide could have been its solo season, because the Red Tide part was, I believe, was more well written, and they could expand on that more and connect that into they could have not connected to the aliens. They could have connected it to let's say to the actual sea, which I think that's what they were trying to do, but I think it failed. They could have said the reason why we end up creating those red pills is because we kept, like, the government captured mermaids, and that's how they were able to use the power of the mermaids and their sirens to manipulate the people's minds in order for you to be talented, right? They could have did something like that, but I guess, you can't ask for too much of Ryan Murphy and his crew. But I definitely feel they should definitely bring back Apocalypse characters, especially characters that are very well written and how they could have came back. And plus, hopefully if they give us a season about I would say history of the Supremes, or even I would love for them to have like a season about just the Warlocks, just like how they had in Coven, and how the Warlocks we end up seeing, a alpha for the first time, because we know that Michael wasn't an alpha because he was the Antichrist and stuff like that, right? So I would love for them to solely focus on a season of like how an alpha is being born in every generation, because it's more rare than a supreme, because we know a supreme could be born in any generation, because those are the ones that carry on the next generation. It's like there have to be a supreme regardless in either generation, but an alpha is very rare. I even thought when I was watching back in season 8, I even thought what's his name, Timothy was an alpha, and I thought he was gonna be the one that fights Michael Langdon, but I guess I was asking for too much, but yeah, that is some of my prediction I would love for me to see in future seasons. Like, how do they make tie-in? But now that we know Timothy and Emily are basically the devil's pawn in order for him to recreate the apocalypse, who is going to stop them this time? Now that we know Mallory went back in time and used Tempus Infinitum, which means I think she gave all her powers up to become the student again. So I think that we still have Cordelia as Supreme going backwards in the timeline. So I'm not sure what do that fix in the storyline as a whole, which I would love to do a bigger video about that to show like what connection that this might have from this season and how this might affect future seasons. Because the way Double Feature ended by having a perfect body and using technology, a high technology to reproduce the perfect species. So we know that I believe those people that are in the cooperative will probably be the perfect species, and they probably the one that set up the apocalypse in the first place. That's why I remember they had like posters coming out when Double Feature was airing. They had like this bubonic plague mask cover, and I believe like maybe the next season might deal with something like in the plague or something like that, which will be cool too. But like I said, this was some of my predictions. I really think that they should definitely make connections like that, because American Horror Story, I still feel they still has a lot to tie in, especially characters that they haven't really explained their backstories like that, and some plot holes that they never brought up again. Like, we know that Lady Gaga's character from Roanoke. If you think about Roanoke, if I'm not mistaken, Roanoke was very similar to Double Feature, like the format. But I feel like Double Feature, what made it different, like instead of continuing the story, they actually told two separate stories, but they never connected them, which is weird to me. Which I'm still not understanding how the season ended the way it did. But I feel as if they wanna surprise the fans, they could have just said, for season 11 they could be like previously in American Horror Story. That would have probably shocked a lot of people. Like, we picked up right where we left off and then start the season, which would have been pretty cool, because it would have been the first time American Horror Story like pause and then continue until the next season, which would never happen before. So that would have been something that a lot of things that I would have imagined that American Horror Story would have done. Now, tell me what you guys think. Do you guys think that from each season that we have watched so far, and comparing from double feature, what stand out to you guys? You know, because like I said before, the way that the season ended for season 8 as well as double feature, a lot of them had like a lot of cliffhangers. So I believe that in order to fix those cliffhangers, they will definitely have to bring things in the future but connect things in the past, but not in a way where it's confusing, you know, especially now that they have a lot of technology that goes on in the future season due to double feature. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you guys like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in future videos. Bye bye.